Hello again, everybody. Witch Doctor here, looking at the markets, and I'm looking at the intra-week activity of the major currencies, talking about the dollar index futures and the majors. You can see over here on the dollar, we got the dollar on the 4-hour chart. On the top, we got the yen, Swiss franc, and the Canadian. And on the bottom, we got the euro, the pound, the Australian dollar, all on a 4-hour chart. And as you know, taking a look at last week's price action versus this week's price action, first thing I want to do is take a look at the dollar index and take a look at last week's trading activity. You can see highlighting last week's range. And talking about this week, we were not able to get outside of last week's trading range. We did try to break out of the highs from last week twice, but were not able to do it successively. And then after they realized, the bulls realized that the market was not going to go any higher, you can see that the dollar index basically fell apart into the back end of the week, and essentially we finished pretty much right around the middle of last week's trading range. So this is what we call an inside week, and an inside week basically tells us that the market, or the bears nor the bulls, really actually made any true progress in any direction. We were expecting that, perhaps the dollar might actually break down, and that did not happen. The contingency was that maybe perhaps the dollar index would actually start to go higher, but that did not happen. So really, you can look at an inside week as also what we call indecision week, or an indecision day if it happens intraday. But rather, just notice that when you have the market doing this kind of stuff, it's really tough for you to jump on a trade and try to hold on to it for any long duration or long period of time. Japanese yen here inside of last week, and Swiss franc inside of last week, Canadian dollar inside last week. Same thing with the euro and the Australian dollar. Now the pound is kind of interesting. It did try to break out of last week's low, and then waited for a retracement all the way back up to last week's low, but you can see here that market really did not get rejected off of this level like you would expect. And because of the environment, because the other markets were not moving, you could have sat back and said, okay, this does not look like it's going to be a high probability scenario in the pound, okay? Because the rest of the markets were actually not moving in any one particular direction, that would give you a little bit of reason to be suspect about the pound going lower, considering that the rest of the markets were all choppy sideways as well. So in a sense, you can see here that the euro was using last week's low as support, coming back up to in the middle of last week's range. You can see here that the Australian dollar used last week's low as support, and then basically rallied off of that up into the 102, the 103 zone. You can see running into resistance at 103. And the Canadian dollar did try to use last week's low as support, but most importantly, working its way off of that level. And then the Swiss franc here, again, inside of last week's trading range. So when you have that kind of scenario, it really puts you on alert that the market is having problems continuing in one direction. So that's the easiest way for you to determine that you probably don't want to be trend trading. You want to be taking quick scalps into the moves, and then kind of like the hit and run type of approach, considering that the market was not willing to move in any direction for any prolonged period of time. You can see basically a choppy environment. There were some moves to be had, of course, but in hindsight, you sit back and you got to be able to evaluate this. And that way, going further, when things like this are happening, you know how to respond. So when the markets are going sideways like this, when you notice that the weekly charts, you're not able to break out on the 4-hour, breaking out above or below last week's higher low, you can see that really the market is turning out to be kind of choppy for the week. So in a sense, we're going to see if this next week will bring us some more volatility, or if we're going to continue to trade inside of these these weeks trading range. So we'll be in tune, and we'll look for you at the next market wrap. This is the Witch Doctor signing off. Good luck. I hope it helps. We'll see you in the next video. While I got you here, I wanted to take a quick moment to say that if you really liked what you're looking at here in the free Forex market wrap video, I wanted to give you the opportunity to come take a look at the premium weekly Forex market wrap video that I do every week. And basically it's a little bit more in depth, or should I say a lot more in depth information about the markets that I cover. And you can see here that in this short video I go over the basics about what I've been looking at on the major currencies. In the more in-depth market wrap video, I take a look at a in-depth analysis on the 6 major currency pairs. You also get actionable trading scenarios. The important thing here is that we're offering a 3-day risk-free trial, so you don't have to pay a cent. It's about a 30 to 45 minute video that'll go through all the major currency pairs that I look at, and it shows you a lot more in-depth analysis and forecast, looking at the longer term picture and the big major trends that are affecting what you're looking at on the lower time frames that you're looking at on a day-to-day basis. So take a moment to go take a look at the premium market wrap video. You can see the link here provided, www.traderstouch.com/3day, and it also includes a free membership to the Traders Learning Network, where you can meet other traders that are like-minded individuals, and they're basically there to help everybody looking at the same markets as you. So good luck, hope it helps, and look forward to seeing you on the inside.